PK in the universe, and I'm here to do a PicKups video. Some people think PicKups videos are not real content, or that they're just filler. And sometimes they're right, but sometimes there's a story behind the PicKups. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to talk about things I picked up, and why I picked them up, and why they're interesting to me at all. Anyways, first up, this is a DVD I got on eBay. Got it for like $5. This is a movie I had on VHS. It's a movie I was watching on Starz when we still had a Starz subscription, but we let our Starz subscription lapse on our Amazon Prime. So I'm like, you know what? I gotta get this movie. And that movie is Excalibur. Excalibur is a movie where King Arthur really roars to life. This movie is like a sword and sorcery style King Arthur. And it's based on Sir Thomas Malory's, let me read on the back here, La Morte de Arthur. I have a hard time saying that. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not of that. Anyways, it stars Nigel Terry, who plays Arthur. Also, it's the screen debuts of, Picard, Star Trek. Oh my gosh, I don't know why. Patrick Stewart. Yes, Patrick Stewart. And Liam Neeson are both in this movie. They were very young at the time when they made these, that were in this movie. So that's why this has a lot of significance, is it has some people who were unknown. Yes, unknown. And are now A-list actors, or well-known actors, I guess you'd call. Yeah, so what's special about this? And I love it. I think it's a great take on the Arthurian legend. Some people often talk about how the characters of Merlin and Morgana that are some of the best parts of this movie. And yeah, I really like their acting, and I love the dialogue between them. But honestly, and the other characters often get written off as being, you know, kind of like stick figures in a play, you know, not very interesting. I actually really liked Nigel Terry's take on King Arthur. I thought he did a good job, honestly. I have this on VHS, saw it on Starz. I didn't have it on DVD, so I wanted to get it on DVD. It's on Blu-ray too, but I've heard the Blu-ray version isn't as good. So, or I've heard there's some mixed reactions to that. So I didn't bother to pick that up. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get it on DVD. It's $5. Can't beat that. Next up, I got some finds from Savers. This is a movie I don't know anything about, but I thought it looked interesting enough because I have a son, so I wanted to watch this with my son. So, and that is Star Wars: The Padawan Minutes. It's a Lego Star Wars movie. I figured this is something really cool my son and I can watch, so I'm like, yeah. That's kind of not really much to say about that one, but I have a lot more to say about these next two movies here. This is a movie I really don't like. So why would I get it? Part of me is like, I want to see if this is really as bad as I think it is. It was actually sealed, but I unsealed it already off camera. And that is The Green Berets with John Wayne. And you know, interestingly enough, John Wayne never served in the military. But he was oftentimes playing military characters, and yeah, he's a piece of work for sure. The Duke, yeah, The Green Berets. The Green Berets would have been a really great movie if it took place during World War II. This is basically, as far as I know, the first Vietnam War movie. And it's very, I don't want to say pro-Vietnam War, but it's very pro-American. But the problem with that is the Vietnam War was a very controversial war. Okay, most people agree this was not a good idea. And yeah, I think if this had taken place in like World War II or something, I would have maybe hold this in much higher regard. And there are some good John Wayne movies. There's some I've enjoyed, but a lot of movies I don't enjoy so much with John Wayne. It's very pro-American. I'll say that about it. I wrote a little information on it. Apparently, they didn't have as big a budget as they wanted, so actually John Wayne convinced Lyndon Johnson to let them borrow some artillery to make a much bigger spectacle, I guess. Yeah, my thoughts on the Vietnam War. Well, I mean, who am I to talk about the Vietnam War? Well, I'm a military veteran. I was in the Air Force for 9.5 years. I served in 2 deployments to Iraq. I was also in Japan during Operation Tamagotchi. you guys know what that is, look it up. Plus, I have a degree in American Studies with a minor in Media and Cinema Studies. And I've taken a class on the history of politics of the Vietnam War. So I've studied up on this. Interestingly enough, little cool information. My professor, who is a Vietnam veteran, served actually around the same time as my stepfather-in-law, and it ends up they went to high school together. I figured that out because I did an interview with my stepfather-in-law, and my professor read it and he was like, "Holy crap, I know this guy." Yeah. So it was, at first I was like, "Did you guys serve together?" He's like, "No, we went to high school together." It was the craziest thing. So that's a little. So yeah, I know a thing or two about the Vietnam War and the politics and the history. I'm not a complete ignorant person, and I'm proud of my service to my country. But this movie is terrible. Honestly, there's a lot of good Vietnam War movies that are really just thought-provoking and really make you think. This one is propaganda. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. That's how I feel about it. And yeah, this is the Green Berets. I'm going to rewatch this again because I want to get I feel like maybe I didn't give it a fair chance, but that's how I feel based on what I watched. And it was a hard movie to get through. Good Lord, man. Here's another movie that's very controversial. But also, I'm sure a lot of people watching this probably think this movie is awesome and funny. And I do too. And I have a story about this movie too. And that is Mel Brooks' Blazing Saddles. I was looking up what it was going for on eBay a while back and thought about getting it. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to pull the trigger on that. And then I found it at Savers and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm getting this movie. This movie's coming home with me. Blazing Saddles. I got to tell you guys about the story the first time I ever watched this. As I just mentioned, I'm an Iraq war veteran, the Iraq II, we'll call it, Operation Iraqi Freedom. I was in the services career field, and which is kind of the jack of all trades career field of career fields. We do a lot of stuff. Well, anyways, I was working at the rec center on my first deployment, and at the rec center, this was a time when Xbox, PlayStation 2, GameCube were relevant systems. But we used to loan out games. We also used to loan out DVDs. And at the rec center, we used to have like Texas Hold'em tournaments. There were tables and there were places people could watch movies and stuff like that. It was a really ginormous tent, basically. And in the rec center, there was a big TV and there always had to be something playing. So somebody suggested to me like, hey, do you want to put Blazing Saddles in? And I'm like, oh, okay, I've never watched this movie before. And then, oh my gosh. So there were a lot of people sitting at one of the tables, and a couple of people were black. And yeah, so I've never seen this movie and I don't understand the context of it. All of a sudden I hear the N-word like a few minutes into the movie, and I'm like cringing so hard. And I didn't know, of course, at the time that this movie basically is making fun of white racist people, honestly. And that's what the brilliance of this comedy is. Oh man, it's so funny. It is a really funny movie. This movie would never get made in a million years. I know everybody says that, but it's true. You'd have to find a director with balls of steel to try to remake this movie, honestly. You wouldn't want to anyways. This movie's so good. So that's Blazing Saddles and my little story of awkwardness. Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention, this is like the most important thing. Oh yeah, so like I heard that word and I'm like cringing. And yeah, so I go to turn it off and they were like, no, keep it on. This is a great movie. So I'm like, okay. And then when I started watching more of it, I realized that this was a comedy and a parody. But yeah. Anyways, moving on. So here was the last thing I got. I actually got this at Menards. Yeah, we were shopping for shovels or something, or I don't know. We were shopping for some type of home improvement stuff. And Menards actually has a pretty decent DVD section. And I got the complete series of Liberty Kids for $5. That's a great deal, honestly. This was going for $10 at Menards for like the longest time. And I kept wanting to get it because I have a lot of fond memories watching this as a kid. And it's actually really educational. So anyways, yeah, this goes for much more than this on eBay. So that was a lot of motivation too to get it, as I was like, well, when am I going to find this any cheaper, And I love American studies. I'm like I said, I have a degree in American Studies, and I can't wait to show my son this when he gets a little older and can understand it. I've tried to have him watch it before, but he's only 3 years old. He doesn't quite get what the American Revolution was, so I think down the road he will really enjoy this. Anyways, these are my pickups. What did you guys think about these pickups? Did you like my crazy stories and my thoughts and ideas on this? Would you like to see me do more pickups? I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hadn't made a video in a while on this channel, and it's great to be back. Stay awesome in this universe. Later.